What time do you sleep? Were you on like what, Path of Exile?
Nah.
Is that still a thing?
It's still a thing, but I'm not playing Path of Exile anymore. I'm bored of it already.
Oh, you stopped already.
Yeah. I mean, I played for the new season. After that, I stopped lah. It's already got in. Then like after that, just grinding already. So like yeah. But recently, this week, I've been sleeping like damn late way.
Why?
I don't know. I just cannot sleep. Like Sunday night, I slept 5 a.m. Then after that, I sleep. Monday night, I sleep 4 a.m. Then Tuesday night, I sleep about 3 a.m. Then I think the past few nights, I got I think on one day I just KO the whole day lah. I think that was Thursday.
It's almost like maybe because like you never tire yourself in the daytime.
Or maybe I'm thinking too much.
Wow. Like thinking of?
Thinking of what? There's too many things to think of.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but now I'm like, there's not only coming in stuff from doing pictures and stuff like that, also getting needing to sort out like the business development part for Digital Nation.
Right.
Yeah, so that one, because we onboarded 2 new people, I had to let one go because of certain reasons. Now getting into the structure of developing that whole thing.
And I'm sure you still can run with one person first.
Can then
to make it like
because I think because people always say why not use AI, right? Sure, you can use AI, but the hope is to have one person there that they can think how to enhance the involvement of AI for me. So the goal is to provide them like, okay, this is the what we have in mind to we need to achieve, which is now we want to get more clients through just kind of cold email method. And then there's this tool that you can use to kind of help to search for database, right? So to automate that process, not only to, in the end, send like a few emails a day and so on, but also to how do you segment them into different industries, and how do you segment them into also like who are the ones who are most relevant to our services. The next level is follow up. You automate the part that is just initial prospecting. Then how do you identify which ones to follow up? And then on my end, I'll be going out to other things like more in-person meetings, more events and this kind of thing. And I feed it back into the system so they can automate and run from there as well. So yeah, so have that person to think how do you consistently enhance that process compared to you just send out 10 emails a day. Yeah. Because AI can just do all that, but having the person think about how do I clean the data, is it accurate, all that kind of things, that is the person. Yeah.
And you need somebody to also move the AI also?
Yes.
Yeah.
So we have tools, but even the tools itself sometimes is not fully there. You know, it's not fully ready. Like for example, now we are using Apollo. Right? Apollo is a great tool. It has a lot of database. But the problem is, right, sometimes it is the tool itself, you have different kind of formatting that you need to upload contacts and then filter it, and then you can some are old contacts which they haven't updated yet, you know. Then also you need to search from other places as well, which are the more prominent kind of companies. Then you get, let's say you get a list of 1,000 people, 1,000 contacts. You filter. That filtering takes time also. Because sometimes you load it and then ask you to send. Then it's like, oh, email not found lah, or maybe it's just the company is different here and there. So yeah, so that takes time.
Yeah. Of course, AI makes it streamlines the process better.
Yes, correct.
I heard a quote recently about AI, right? So this I think this person was talking about like you thought that AI would help you to save time, which is true. Yeah. And then you'll be like, oh, I have time to do whatever life stuff, non-work related stuff or whatever, right? But then he says that, but the reality is that he ends up doing more work. Because like, all the maybe simple things AI will settle already, or those transactional things AI settle. That means that he will refocus on doing the other stuff, and ends up doing still maybe the same amount of work in totality, right?
Yeah.
But I guess the whole point is efficiency, so that you move some of the other, you can move some of the other important parts also of work related.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think the key there I found is that people think, like you say, AI improve efficiency and so on. It can help you scale. So for example, let's say volume wise, right, you connect it every day. If I were to be able to contact 10 people a day, it can technically contact 1,000 people a day if I have that amount of database. But then, right, I need to find the enough people amount, that volume, So maybe 10, I contact 10 people a day and I have a list of 1,000. It'll last a long time. But if AI can technically could contact 1,000 people a day, then it will be finished in one day. Then what does AI do next? Right? So that part is real. But first, even to get to the step of even contacting one person a day, you need to build the SOP. And you need to actually train AI in those exact steps and things what to do. So they can do, the AI can do it for you automatically. So let's say you get a new contact, you feed it into your system. Technically, the whole process of checking the verification, cleaning the data, formatting it correctly into the tools that you want to send it out to outreach, then setting all the follow-ups, that is a whole SOP, which you actually need to be very specific on how the AI does it. It's as if you're training a person. So I think that the key takeaway is that if you don't have your SOP locked down, right, you won't really be able to fully automate AI in the first place. So that's why a lot of people, I think, who are the who are people who are practitioners, right, what they find is that AI can make your life very easy. It really can, but it is very important that you actually know how to do it yourself first. So for example, like I mentioned, like how do I prospect for the prospect for contacts? How do I clean the data? How do I verify whether it's legit or not? All these steps. I know how to do it manually. Then I teach AI to do it. Then you follow those exact steps. Then the whole system is automated. Then I can do it, scale it from, do you want to send one today or you want to send 1 million? Sure, go ahead, Yeah, but first that system needs to be there. And the only way that system is there is if you actually know how to do it yourself.
Yeah.
So that's why the practitioners always say that you really need to know your fundamentals. If you don't know your fundamentals, AI will make your life easier. It make your life even harder. In fact, yeah.
Which is correct. And that actually leads to our topic for today. Yes. Welcome to Podcast Tak Berlesen. So before I get into the topic of the day, right? So I've got feedback that some people who just turn on and listen, they don't know whose voice is who. So we have to introduce ourselves with our voice. So
With
my name is
our
Sir Cloud.
My name is Roti.
Yes, and that's our voices. So as you listen throughout, so these are the two voices.
Hey, I think this one maybe we need to complain to tech support already. Wait, bro, if they cannot recognize the voice, right, is it unsync or something?
No,
Could it be?
it's not unsync. It's just that people want to know, like, if they turn off the video, who are they listening to?
Oh, okay. Sorry, producer, not your fault. Sorry, I have a mistake.
Question. I can't recognize your voice.
Because you see us all the time.
Okay, that's
the point.
Is it because
Actually, I don't recognize my own voice online sometimes, because I rarely listen to my own voice back to myself. Right. So because I think that I sound one way in person. Then when I hear my voice online after going through all the filtering, whatever digital encoding here and there, right, then like, is this me?
Yes, that's you.
fun fact for everyone? I'm talking to the microphone right now. Your voice, I need to increase the bass. Because your
Increase
voice,
the bass.
I need to increase your
I'm not
bass.
bassy enough.
You're a bit too high pitched, so I need to increase your bass to low to like balance out. For you, I need to lower down a bit because you are mumbling sometimes. And bass, it will become more bassy. So I have a separate EQ. I don't. The start with my EQ is so amazing that both of you sound the same.
That means. Wow. But that means what? That means that whoever who wants to know how Lin does the EQ and why, you have to check. Lin has to do a video
Yeah.
tutorial.
Yeah.
See?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. This goes very well into what we're going to discuss today, which is the education blueprint.
Yes.
So now you should do a voice EQ educational video, you know? Because one of the topics is TVET, and that's actually very practical things to have for audio, you know? So yeah.
Nice segue. So just to set the context to everyone, right? The Malaysia Education Ministry has came out with a National Education Blueprint, which will begin this year, 2026, until 2035. The previous edition ended in 2025, so that's why they needed to also come up with a new blueprint as well. So this next blueprint will span 9 years lah. Yeah, in the next 9 years before, again, it's reviewed later on. Yeah, and it's been also announced by the Prime Minister himself, Dato Sri Anwar Ibrahim, at the Putrajaya International Convention Centre on the 20th of January. However, we had some time to look at feedback online, digest it a little bit, and that's why we are doing the recording today to come up with our own thoughts lah. Yeah.
Today is what? 15th of February. So it's been about 2 weeks.
Yeah. So I think it's a good amount of time for it to settle in, right? Yeah. So we're going to reference a few points here. Thanks to Bernama for just doing key highlights so that we can just follow through easily. And also, fun fact, why I'm dressing like this is because by the time we release this video, it's Chinese New Year.
Yeah.
So might as well.
恭喜发财.
恭喜发财.
Happy Chinese New Year to whoever is celebrating. Yeah. So, and please give me ampao.
You can still receive.
Yeah.
The one that can give us is our producer.
Ayo.
Doesn't matter. We're all Malaysian. So
Yeah.
the one that can legally give.
Or more like culturally give.
Culturally.
Yeah, because it's not really legal that you need to give, but it's culturally.
True.
That's Chinese New Year, right?
True.
Chinese New Year is a cultural thing, right? Yeah, so culturally can give. Like for us, we're still, single, not married. So like,
so people cannot ask me for ambao.
Yeah.
I mean, you can ask, it's just that I say that, I am culturally not legal to give.
Maybe this is where, like, how people say people in esports generally look younger than how they really are. So I think this works out for us.
Wow.
Because, we don't look our age, right? Then we can go out to the, uncle, aunties and ask for ampao because we look like young people.
And easily. Although the number has been going down over the years.
Yeah.
It just comes with age.
Yeah.
Anyway, back on the blueprint. So we have 12 points summarized here that we can go through one by one. Let's start off with the first point. All schools, including community, religious, international, and private schools, must teach Bahasa Melayu and history under the national curriculum to strengthen national identity.
I think this is something that's really important because in the end we are Malaysians, and I know a lot of people will always say, go other countries, we are scared of brain drain, all these kind of things. But there's just something very special about knowing that you're Malaysian, you have a home, and what's your heritage and your history. And I think it's very important to understand where you're grounded to, and then there's some place that will always be very welcoming. And then from like history and Bahasa Melayu, this is where we actually learn a lot about our culture, and then what's unique about us, and how we can not just fit in, but also contribute to the world in a global scale. Yeah. So I think it's really important to have.
My take is that, of course, if you say Bahasa, then yes, culturally, I agree. I want to add on the history part, right? So I often hear this, right? People ask, like, why is it so important to learn history? Like, why? The thing has passed, right? Or whatever. But if we look at whatever that we do, whether it's in work or whether it's how we innovate stuff and all that has always been referenced by something that has done before. Like nothing is new.
Yeah.
Like it has always been like, because previously this thing happened, that's why we are doing it. now. Even if you want to talk about AI, right? I'm sure it is born out of like, whether historically people have been spending too much time doing transactional stuff, low value added stuff, or even with the history of how programming language is born. Maybe start off with like HTML and then it moves towards C++. That's something that I studied way back, way back, college time. And now it moves towards modern tech stacks languages like I'm just going to put in a few tech terms, right? Like React, like Node.js and all that. So all that is just a evolvement over time from whatever it was before. Hence, AI is also part of that journey. So if you think about it, right, like for us to learn history, we learn why certain things happen and what is the implications of it. Hence, we don't repeat certain mistakes. Right. So my thought is like that. So it's like, for example, if you're talking about from a social perspective, right, why the 13th May happened. Right. The racial riots back in the day, right? I don't have your parents ever shared with you about how it was back then?
To be honest, not much, but I have read up a bit here and there, and I think it was a lot more, I would say, divisive. You know, like I think it's like everybody kind of had their own place, their own like things that they were expected and status and so on. Then after that happened, then there was seems to me there was a huge reform that happened. So
right. So one of the reasons why that also happened is because of there were some things, I will go into the details now, right? But there were some things that they were unhappy with each other, and then there was also if we track back on that previously, right? Then it was also during the British era time where they segment racials, like for example, the Indians will stay in the plantation, like the Chinese will just do business, and then you kind of don't mix it, and then from
it's the whole Kampung Baru concept, right? Back then.
Sort of like that, right? And then because of that separation, then because you don't have that understanding and unity, it led to the 13 May riot, racial riot, and so on and so forth. So if we learn from because of racial separation, it leads to all these potential, then moving forward, we shouldn't have racial separation, right? So to me, learning history and understanding history is important so that we don't make the mistakes of the past like that.
So history is always a very good teacher, right? So it's as if like when I think there's this saying that if you want to learn something, learn from what other people have done, right? So history is that same kind of benchmark, right? Because you learn that so much people have done before in the past and it's well documented. And then this is where you can get like a lot of knowledge and there's actual context there for you to learn where things happen and how it's done moving forward as well. So
I just had this thought of like, as time progresses, right, the history will add on and add on and add on. So for example, maybe our time, right, our history maybe is until post Merdeka and the first few prime ministers after that. But I don't know. I don't know how far history will go, like as history will be moving forward, lah. So for example, like when Lynn's kids start learning history in school, is pandemic going to be part of history or not?
Bersih is going to be in.
Is Bersih going to be part of history? Yeah, obviously in our time we don't learn that because it haven't happened yet. But is it? So that means that by the time your kid enters school, you can tell us maybe in 10 years time, lah, right? But imagine like the amount he has to study, like from maybe the dinosaur time up until I don't know when is going to be the cutoff, lah.
Then here's the question: what are they going to delete?
Correct. Because you cannot cram everything, right? Yeah. But I guess the details of the syllabus, that one can come as time goes by. But it's something that I'll be curious to find out as well. Like,
I'm also like, because now since there is AI, right? Would there be a way that they kind of integrate AI into this?
Ooh.
You know, because like you say, what will they delete? Technically with AI, you don't need to delete anything anymore. But you can say that what are the core focuses, and then maybe they have the references that are available, and then how do you use it? How can AI be used to kind of like help them curate those kind of subjects and topics?
I think even with AI curating it, right, you still need to at some point, like, you need to start to remove certain things because it's all about time, right? Like in a year, you can only have a set amount of time to study, and that we're only talking about history. You haven't talked about like all the other subjects.
Yeah.
So what are the important things do you put in there?
Yeah, but what I meant was like maybe AI can be used for like if you want to find out more that's outside of the syllabus, you can use this, and then this is the like library or knowledge base that we have. If you're curious to find out more, but in the syllabus is this kind of stuff. So,
right. Yeah. but I think the conversation on curiosity in education, and also you put AI in the mix, this is going to be a whole different topic altogether. Because from my experience also teaching in higher learning, students, there are different ways of how students use AI. I have seen students' homework prompt fully by AI also, right? Yeah. And if you ask them like, what do you mean by this? They have no idea. Yeah. And some of them use AI as a reference point just to like, enhance my knowledge or widening the scope of my thought process. Then that's okay. But at the end of the day, how is it being used? I think that's internationally that's still being debated lah.
You know what? I think that's, like you said, a totally new thing to get into. But maybe it also might affect on the second point, new learning metrics to be centrally administered on the examinations board for year 4 pupils from 2026 and from 3 in 2027. New metrics. Yeah, so...
Okay, well, it's not detailed here what sort of new metrics lah, right?
But what do you think?
Right.
Yeah, what do you think will be? Because you're like marking examinations and so on now. Like, what might come out?
Right. So I think there's been a lot of debate on like how education should evolve over time, right? I guess when we study, it is a lot about like you have to memorize a lot of things. That's why we always have this joke of like, if you go to an exam, it's just vomit everything onto the paper and then you forget about it the next day. Right?
Have you seen those as score A books? Yeah. I remember like, actually following those score A books. And then in the end of the day, I just found there's a pattern. There's a pattern to it for like your English VM, how you mark your papers, your paper 1, paper 2. And everything is also maths, also how you score A, everything here and there. There's a pattern. And in the end, I just followed that pattern. So yeah.
You follow that pattern. Okay. I remember my way when I studied for exam last time was that first is that teacher will beg teacher for like, can give tips lah. Right? Like, you beg the teacher, you keep past the teacher, you act on the teacher, you do whatever it takes. Okay, that teacher will like, okay lah, I give you tips lah. You focus on this chapter, right? So what I did last time was that prior to the exam, I would open the textbook of that chapter, that particular chapter only, and then I would just salin balik everything. That is, so when I copy back everything, I write a copy back in whatever another exercise, a piece of paper basically, it doesn't matter, so that I hafal. That was my way of like, because that's how it was structured last time. And then that question comes up, bam. But if the question doesn't come up, I'm pretty much screwed lah.
Yeah. I remember how me and my classmates do it is like, the teacher seems to be focusing on this particular topic quite a bit. Then we know like, because our teacher that time was the one who came up with the questions for our school examinations. So we would be like, hey, macam the teacher focusing on this a lot. I think it's going to come out. And then, they will like give tips. Then sometimes it's like, I think the teacher is like, I think they're cheating us again, cheat our feelings. I don't think this will come out, even though they say it.
Right.
I think about that. Okay.
Sekali never keluar.
Yeah, right. Yeah. But I think like nowadays, at least because I had friends from other schools as well. Then what I noticed is everyone will say in different schools, the exams, like the grades are like different standards one. Because some schools you see like people schools that score very high marks, then they'll say compared to some other schools, yeah, you might get 80% in school A, but school B, right, if you go there, you probably get like 60% only because the exams are just harder, you know. What I realized was that it is because how much each school they need you to do critical thinking. And those schools that tend to have harder exams, they force you to think a lot more. It's not just straightforward answers, you know. So questions. So they ask this question, then it's like, what do you think about this? You know what? Let's say in history, for example, they say, why does this person act like this in that situation? You know, what are the things that influence compared to what did he do? Yeah, that kind of question.
Yep.
So yeah. So like, I mean, in your point of view, when marking that kind of questions or even grading or even creating that kind of examination questions as a lecture academician yourself, right, what do you think moving forward? Like, you change.
Okay. So without having the details yet in this point, right? So in my opinion, that going for like examination that is like, okay, you see in a hall and then you answer like that. Cool. It's very structured and it's very straightforward on how you answer that. But does it eventually lead to the bigger goal of things, right? Which is the bigger goal of things is that you want to make sure that these students are well trained in school, industry ready, and all that lah. And some of it is to train like communication skills, critical thinking, like what you mentioned, all that. But how do you measure communication skills and critical thinking, right? So this is what I felt is the best way based on the practices that I have done, lah, right? So a few there is to get them to present their ideas, right? I personally am a fan of presentation. It takes a bit more prep for the students themselves, but it is just part of the journey. They have to create their slides or whatever visual aid that they have, and then they have to stand in front of a crowd, and then they have to share their ideas. But by doing that, number one, you know that you can't hafal that stuff. You can hafal to a certain extent, but you cannot hafal all the way, right? There must be some flexibility on how you present your idea. And then because you're already up there, teachers can have the room to like go back and forth Q&A with the students. Like, oh, why do you think about this concept and not that concept? And then let them justify their ideas and all that. So I think that, frankly speaking, I feel that that's the best way moving forward. If you say that, that applies to students that are more mature, let's say higher learning students, right? How about like standard 1 students who are clearly not that level yet? You want to Q&A with them is like difficult. So to me, then I would say that there are other ways to do it, like show and tell. For example, you let them do things that they want to do. So I give this is just an example. Okay, today's presentation is about what your favorite hobby is. So maybe the student will come and bring a toy, for example, right? They'll bring a toy and then they show this toy to all their friends and then they share why they like the toy, right? And maybe the teacher can ask certain simple things like, I don't know, it's very situational, but maybe like, oh, why do you like this toy and not the other toy? And then let them just talk about it. Or because the other toy is, I don't like the color or whatever it is. Right? It doesn't matter. To me, the answers to a certain extent doesn't matter as long as the person is able to critically think about it. Right. I think that is the key area. Right. But of course then comes to, okay, how do you mark it, right?
Yeah, the evaluator. Because it's sure you can implement this and then to train the person who's receiving the learning. But it's also equally important to impart that vision to the person who is evaluating and doing the teaching itself. Right.
Correct.
Yeah.
Because this is qualitative evaluation, right? So the best way that you can give to teachers is a rubric lah. Right, which is it's already common practice out there anyway. Having a rubric to like, okay, if they are able to do this certain level, okay, it's going to be the range of this score, a certain level range of this score, certain level range of this score, and so on and so forth. So that becomes a guideline. Of course, ultimately, at the end of the day, teachers need to be trained as well on how to come up with a fair evaluation.
Right.
Yes, it is subjective for sure, but that is still going to be the best way lah. And
Right.
to have level of consistency is to have the same level of training across lah.
Right.
Yeah, that's how I would see it.
Damn, then maybe even the teachers might need to go through a new round of kind of training to actually really roll this out efficiently, right?
Oh yeah. I believe that at anything in the blueprint here, teachers need to be upskilled as well. Yeah, teachers play a very important role in school. Yeah, teachers are the parents in school already.
I wonder whether they'll utilize, the school holidays in between, then they just roll out the whole training for the teachers.
Hey, apparently that's what they do. As far as I know lah, right? So I have some teacher friends. Sometimes I ask them, what happens in school holidays? So they will have different things to do lah, right? Whether it's they settle whatever administrative stuff they have, prepare for the new semester or new school year, like I don't know, administrative stuff lah, right? Or sometimes they will like go for training. Like in fact, I was also part of this training of STEM teachers in Malaysia. So they gathered like hundreds and hundreds of STEM teachers in Malaysia. Yeah, Lynn was there also. And what they do is that they go through like I think a week's course of workshops and all that. So that can be part of teachers training as well. Yeah. And the objective of them going through that program, I remember it was run by Teach for Malaysia, partnership with Petronas, was to upskill the STEM teachers in terms of understanding how to use modern ways of teaching. So my involvement came in is like, how do you use esports in school as part of a learning journey? So one of the things that we talked about in the workshop of my session is to let students, they already like games, let them run events in school. Small scale is okay, but in that small scale, they learn how to do proposals, how to do budgeting, how to work in a team, these sort of things that can be used. So these are things that teachers can do in break times lah.
It's very similar what you described. That whole, how do you running a tournament, getting people to do the whole process A to Z, right? Because I was in UK for a few years, right? And they actually implemented that kind of teaching method, I would say. So we were learning about, my gosh, it was a science class so long ago, but we were learning about volcanic reactions. I don't even remember what exactly the chemical reaction is anymore, but essentially we were building an actual volcano. So we actually, like, everyone in the class got together, we used clay and stuff like that to really build up the volcano. And in the end, the teacher got the chemicals to mix it, pour into the volcano, and it actually became like an eruption, that kind of thing. And then they would use that to teach, like, hey, this is the eruption. Then we would, it's not just the volcano that we built. We actually built like the land and the rivers and then the houses around, and then we see how that lava flows down and that whole thing. So that became like, and that whole thing span across I think 1 whole month that we were doing it. So it wasn't just like a one-time thing. It was slowly we built the town, we built the volcano and the mountains and so on. And then we had the chemical reaction happen. Then we see all that, and then we document, and then we write assignments about it.
So as a kid, did you felt fun doing it?
Yeah, much more fun. You actually, until right now, I remember. You see, I don't even remember what the topic was, but I remember reading the volcano and how it actually affected the whole township around there. So like you said, like, how do you show and tell, right? You don't just tell in theory, you don't just write it down, but you actually be involved in kind of simulating what that topic or the function would actually look like. So yeah.
I mean, I remember my science subjects as well. It's like we plan simple things like I remember there was an onion that we plant, and then we leave it at the science lab, and then over time we go and check on it, and we see how it grows and all that.
Yeah.
So again, like you, right? I wouldn't remember all the nitty gritty details, but I remember the experience of like go checking on my plant. It's like, hey, my plant is bigger than your plant. You know, that's sort of fun thing.
And then some people they water the plant too much and then it dies.
Yeah, then maybe the learning is that then you know that maybe not everything has to be like overly done.
Yeah.
Of course, we're not that mature enough to think of the learning.
Yeah.
We just had fun.
But that's why they say like for children and young children, one huge part of learning is actually just play. And I think there's this term called organized play, right? And I think that kind of leads into what is the next one, which is the starting age. They are moving it to 5 years. 5 years at year 1. At age 6. Then, but of course, subject to parental readiness.
Right. So from 2027, preschool will begin at age 5 and year 1 at age 6, subject to parental and student readiness. So this thing has been, I think, the hottest debated topic of them all, right? And one of the things that were proposed, which by this recording they have already postponed this plan, is that to have a somewhat like a test, entry test to determine whether this child is ready to join standard 1 or not.
Right.
Yeah, by the age of 6, right? And of course, by our recording, it has already been postponed, which received a lot of negative feedback.
Right.
And I can see why as well.
Right.
Yeah.
I think logistically it would be quite a big task, even just to have that examination. Right. Because I can imagine all the parents with 5-6-year-olds would be just scrambling to be like, hey, let's do the test, that kind of thing.
Like FOMO lah.
Yeah, and then like when's the test going to happen? Who's gonna be doing it? And all that kind of stuff, right? It's like, wow. I think like we add one more traffic jam season to the seasonal calendar, which is why is it traffic jam now? Oh, everybody going for the entry test right now.
I think the entry test FOMO is one thing. I think the other thing that I've seen most debated on by a lot of people that has given an opinion on this is that at a very young age, a child like that, right? You're putting them in a spot where they might fail, and their friends might be successful. So imagine like you're just 5 years old and then you already received this, I did badly at the exam, but my friend did well, he goes up earlier than me and all that. I'm bad, I'm dumb. You give that possible negative feeling to a child who at that age is not ready to process it yet. Yeah.
Right.
Which I think I agree with that point.
Okay.
Yeah. And what's your take on this?
So I think personally for this kind of, I would say, I guess early childhood trauma incidents, right?
Yeah.
A lot of it really depends on how the teachers deal with it, and then secondly how how it's dealt with at home. Because if let's say that, of course, the kid is like you said, very afraid of, hey, my friend is better than me, they progress faster and so on, whereas I cannot learn and so on, right? Definitely there is a biological aspect towards that because, the brain is still forming and so on. And not just brain, even your motor functions, to be very honest. By that time, it should be more or less already developed enough. But who knows, right? At that young age, there are still things, right? So both development when it comes to mentally and then emotionally and so-called physically as well, everything would be at that young age is very fast. And usually what happens is that the child's reaction will develop very dependent on how the people around them react towards it. Especially when it comes to the people that they feel they want to, what's that thing? They look up to people that they look up to. For first one is their parents. What would their parents say? How do the parents react to it? So I feel it is very important that both the parents and the teachers understand how to help the child navigate these feelings and make them feel like, they don't feel like they're left behind. It's more like be encouraging and make sure they keep on continuing to pursue it, no matter what. Otherwise, that they will fall into that trap, right? So I think like the fear, I think, is more towards at different ages, you have different each person will have different development stages, like it or not. Even if let's say you standardize everybody 6 years old, 7 years old, like how we have now, right? I think you will still face that issue. It's just like you really need to be mindful about how do you handle these things. At that young age, they need a lot more encourage and positive reinforcement because they are looking out for you. They are technically new to this world that they are exploring, They will have the toddler kind of like curiosity, but it goes to a certain extent. If they feel more social pressure that, that like you mentioned, then automatically they'll grow more anxious and then they'll back down. Then you as the adult need to be able to, I would say, create the right environment to encourage them.
There might be some people who will become the devil's advocate of this, right? To say that, so that means are we setting up our children to be weak?
Yeah.
Right? Like, they need to face the reality of like, life is not that easy.
Yeah.
Yeah. As early as possible. So when you reach that age, you'll be like, you're immune to it. Some people would probably put in that devil's advocate into it, right? In my take is that, yes, there will be something something like that along the lines, but why we also need to evolve from how it was taught last time, where you as a child, kids are probably put a lot of pressure very early on, so they will toughen up by the time it reaches adulthood, is because the modern era, one thing that we don't have as compared to before is social media. There's a lot of it's easy access to compare like me and you and everyone else in social media, and a lot of people would like to portray all the good stuff that they get on social media, their travels, their luxury items and whatnot, and kids will start to compare and say, why can they have this and why can I not have that, right? So that's the evolvement of the era and why we cannot have it the same like before also. So then here comes the other extreme, right? To say that, so you're saying that we should be very protective of our children now. And I'm not saying that we should be overly protective of our children. We should give them some level of exposure to toughen up at certain points, right? Which will relate to the next few points that we will discuss on. But to put them in a traumatic situation early on where they are not ready to process it yet. And I have seen with people at our age group or surrounding our age group, how that has affected them because of past trauma. Because of past trauma, it is carried on onto their adulthood. And because of that as well, you think that, they are tough because they've gone through it as a child. But no. Apparently, they become weaker because they become afraid to do certain things because of past trauma. Yeah. And this is something that we need to tread very carefully in the modern world with children.
It holds them back compared to, I would say like it toughens them up in one perspective, but there are many other perspectives that actually makes them weaker because they are unable to deal with it.
Yes.
So
yes. And I would just term this as past trauma.
Yeah.
It's the same thing that's when I had with my students, right? And sometimes generally my students can be like rather passive and they don't want to share their thoughts and all that. Yeah, you have a few students that are very thought-provoking, but a lot of them are very passive and they don't want to share their ideas. And in one day in class, I told them that, you know why some of you like very afraid to share your thoughts and ideas? It's because of the fear of being judged. And how that came off is through past trauma. Then I just throw the question to the class, right? When you were in school, and you answer a question wrongly in class, 1+1, you answer 11. What do you think happens next?
Oh, I mean, if you're from a typically Chinese ed school last time, right, then you get caned lah.
Yeah, you know, in sekolah kebangsaan, at least my time also is like you stand on the chair or whatever.
Yeah, you have some punishment lah, right?
Some form of punishment, and then your friends will laugh at you or things like that. And because of that past trauma, when you enter higher learning, you carry that past trauma forward. Hence, you limit yourself already. You may have those ideas in your head, but because you're worried of being judged, you'll be like, oh, I might as well don't answer. Because if I don't answer, I don't get anything.
Yeah, it's not just judge, punish, so many things that happened.
Correct.
Because you did something wrong.
Exactly.
Right. Yeah.
Whereas in higher learning, and I believe it's not only me practicing this, but across all other higher learning teachers as well, nobody's going to cane you in uni, right?
Yeah.
Unless you go steal stuff lah, then there's a different category lah, right? But if it's like, oh, maybe your understanding is not so aligned or not that right, nobody's going to cane you. Yeah, because I believe in higher learning, everybody's about like thought-provoking conversations, just trying to get out ideas. And sometimes it may not need to be right.
Yeah.
You know, it may just be an opinion. Even if it's not right, it's debatable, that's fine.
Yeah.
Right? So it's a whole different way to look at it. But of course, because of the past trauma, it's hard to carry forward. So coming back to the whole making it earlier for students and having this test in the first place, that's why I'm also in the opinion is that it's not ready to have that sort of judgment for students yet lah. But I want to ask your opinion on this, since you have experienced education overseas. What's your take on putting aside having a test to enter earlier, right? But moving the year earlier to 6 years old to start standard 1?
Personally, I think it is fine. Reason being, I feel that like, at least from what I understand about Malaysian education system right now, it is, like you said, very test-based, and then like very theoretical and test-based, and then a lot about memorization and so on, right? Whereas in the West, the experience was very much different, which is there is still theory and examinations and so on, but a lot of it is assignments and group work, and also things that you actually are actually like, you're physically involved to do certain things already. It's not just about everything you memorize and the pen and paper already. So they teach you more about thinking as well. And then I feel they also do a much better job of adapting to children of different ages and also different speeds of learning. So back then, I remember this one time, right? I was in a math class, right? For some reason, my dad was already teaching me like university level maths when I was 7 years old.
Wow.
Yeah.
Which like what algebra?
I was literally doing algebra when I was
okay.
6 and 7, which is 6, 7. But
okay.
Yeah, I was doing algebra when I was age 6. I don't think I was super good at it back then, but at least I already had the concept in my mind, you know. So when it came to like doing the work that was in I think that's in primary school in the UK, right? I was way ahead than anybody. And the teacher that actually spoke to my parents, and they say whether considering putting me more advanced class just for math. So they were thinking like, just for math, if the schedules can align right, then they will put me in, I think that time I was in year 2 or 3. They will put me in year 4 or 5 instead. Because I like, for example, they will structure the class in a way where half of the, let's say it's 1 hour, half an hour they teach. Then the next half an hour, everybody will be doing the work, right? Within like half that time, not only finish the work that needed to be done in class, but also the work that the other students would take home. I would finish all of it already. And then it's like mostly correct. So then they were like, what are you learning, you know? And then I told them so and so. And that's where they actually consider that. So I think like Western countries have a better way of managing different learning speeds and different learning methods curated for different ages, which maybe that's something that eventually we need to learn in Malaysia as well. It's not just about maybe this age entry level is not just about how development or how developed they are as a person or how ready they are for this, but it's also can we make our education system or syllabus the way that we are teaching knowledge to people of different ages more in a way that's better for them to absorb. Example, like you go all those books like Score A or whatever, technically it's trends and theories. And then if you look further about how people memorize and how people learn about work, right? Then sure, it goes to, you not only listen, you write it down and then you memorize it back to yourself again. The more they say, the more layers, different methods that you use to learn something, the more better you memorize it. But that maybe is just for like primary, secondary school work, right? Early secondary school work. You go to later secondary and university work is different already. It's like, how do you think about it? Why do you think they use this approach? Why do you think they thought about it this way? Like if you go to advanced mathematical formulas, right? It's not just about this formula is the one and only way. This is actually the shortest and most easiest way that's standardized for us to learn. But there are so many different ways to come to that same equation, the same number. And all those different methods is about how those scientists, they thought about this, how to deduce this equation. Then they came about with those formulas, So it's about critical thinking as well. So different stages, different levels of skills that you need to develop. So it could be that as well, right? I think that is another thing to pose to maybe for us to think about for education.
Yeah, to evolve it also, right? Yeah, because I remember I used to have this friend. He is he's a CTO. He's a CTO and he's Australian. And I remember that he was telling me that his child, who is like 7 years old, he already teach his child how to do programming. Of course, he himself as a CTO, he has programming background, so he can teach at home also, right? But as early as that, he already exposed his child to that also. Yeah. And this was a conversation that we had prior to the pandemic, so I think it was like 2018 or something around. So it's kind of modern era also, right? And I remember like when I was a child as well, at home, maybe not as advanced as you, yours sound really advanced. But I remember like when I was that 7, 8 years old sort of age range, right? Like my entire house would be full of educational posters. So we would have like a world map that my parents put up, a world map. So then I would just, you're there, it's in the living room. So you're just like, oh, this is where China is, or this is where US is. It's kind of like a geographical learning, right? Like where everything is. And then I would have like posters of the maths, like 1 times 1 is 1, 1 times 2 is 2, and then up to like 9. I remember 1 until 9. Yeah, all around the house. And then at one other corner of the house, I remember have like it's a poster of a body, and then it just shows that where's the heart, where is the stomach, it just points out all these. It's almost like simple biology for a 7, 8 year old sort of kids thing. So that's how I kind of learned, because my parents, I remember, they paste all over the house. So no matter what, you're like around there. And then there'll be sessions where my dad would like, okay, just quiz me lah. It's like, okay, 2 times 2 is what? Typical Asian dad lah, right? 2 times 2 is what? Okay. Like sit down. Okay. Now I'm gonna ask you, 6 times 2 is what? So immediately at 12, right? At the age lah. So I think that kind of helped me in school. So that when the teacher reaches that topic, it's like, I already know.
Yes.
So it eases my learning in school, because I also understand now that we are a bit more older, right? Because in school you have like 30 students in the class. Teachers cannot go individual, because different kids will have different pacing of study. It's very hard to go individual. So this is where the home plays a big part to like customize it for however you think the progress of your kid is lah. Of course, my parents, they are until SPM only, but of course SPM back then is almost like a degree nowadays. Yeah. So they only can teach me to a certain level lah, which is already good enough for me. So I kind of survived school that way. Yeah. I also want to put out the point of like, I do agree as well to moving standard 1 to age 6 because we are already sending our children to kindergarten anyway. What's the difference, right?
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
Right, Lin?
Yeah,
Right?
Lin who is sending his kid to pre-kindergarten is going like,
It's a pre-kindergarten.
Yeah.
there you go.
Why not just go all the way?
Yeah.
First, you cannot. There's the age limit.
Aiyo.
Because of the current system.
Why if you could? Would you just
I would still not because first it's like
You won't want to move it to 6.
I still like the current system where it slowly progresses you to like, okay, let's focus on social first, then we focus on learning, then we focus on blah blah blah. Because most of the school, if you go to like immediately go to kindergarten, you would not have the social construct of, oh, you don't be angry to this guy, or this guy is a bit more aggressive, how do you handle with that? So that's why I feel like pre-kindergarten fix that part, not the educational part yet.
Oh, okay. So you're saying fix the even earlier one.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's my opinion. And I feel like my kid is like that. He don't want to like share toys before this, but now okay, bit, he now knows how to handle humans.
Okay. I mean, that's also an interesting thought. It's like, you don't really look at the standard one, you look even like before it.
I will look at before it first.
Yeah, but I guess but then if I understand Lin punya thought process, then the whole 6-year-old standard one, you cool with that?
Yeah.
You're cool with that, right? You're cool with that? But also look at the ones behind it.
Yeah.
There we go. We got from a dad.
Yeah. For
But
us,
kid
yeah,
is
like
not valuable yet.
no man. At least you
It's
got a
very
kid.
important.
At least you have a kid. Like for us, we can only see from other people. You know.
Yeah, but that's very important because the first, whether it's the first one or the 10th one, it is a new beginning every time.
Always learn something.
Kan, right? So so there you go.
Yeah.
So in general, I guess we're all cool with moving it earlier.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right. Next point is 100 million ringgit allocated to upgrading teachers' rooms nationwide. Of course, whenever there's budget, it's always good lah, right?
So maybe because again we don't know the details, right? But if let's say I were to ask you if 100 million allocated to improve, upgrade teachers' rooms nationwide, right? If you could add 3 things, what would it be? Only 3 things.
Wow. Okay.
In a classroom, yeah.
All right. So I know teachers who teach in rural area. So our lens sometimes we think of like the Bandar city teachers, right? That generally has access to a lot of things already. What about the rural teachers area? Okay. So this is the struggle that I often hear with my rural teacher friends, right? Internet.
Right.
Access to internet is a pain for them.
Right.
So, which also means that if they want to access learning tools, like let's say Canva, or they want to play YouTube videos to illustrate certain things, it's very, very difficult for them.
Yeah.
So I would say that if there's, the first thing is access to internet. Yes. Reduce the digital gap. They know how to use the tools because these teachers, they're generally, a lot of them are from cities.
Yeah.
So they know how to use these modern tools. But if you go there, no internet, also GG.
Yeah.
Even if you say that, like what you said just now, how AI tools can be used.
Yeah.
No internet, no need to talk. Right? Same thing.
True.
Yeah. So I would say that's one for me.
Internet. Okay. All right.
Internet. So that's one. So of course with internet, then you need to upgrade the hardware. Yeah, you need to have the right equipment to be able to run it, projectors, the right PC specs, depending on what you want to teach and all that. So I think these 2 will be it. Third is again, this is me based off because I don't teach in a school. I teach in IPT, which is different. Our facilities are different. Again, I'm based on what teachers tell me lah. They also struggle with administrative work. And this one I can understand because I myself mark papers. Yeah, although yes, I have IPT level systems and all that, but it's still like, every time I mark papers, I be like, gosh.
Man.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've heard you telling me your stories about that.
Yeah, it's like sometimes I need to like, okay, one day I don't do anything but marking papers that potentially can happen, which is the absolute.
It's like the admin that goes into.
Correct, it's super administrative lah, right? I personally like to engage more with students and do that. But okay, so I guess to answer the point number 3, that to upgrade for teachers' room is to give them the tools tools are subscribe to whatever tools that can help them ease their administrative work so that they can spend more time with the kids. I believe that if kids have more attention, it is way more valuable than teachers sitting and just keying in attendance marks and all that.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
That's that.
Right.
Tools to help them lah. Yeah. Whether it's AI tools that can automate certain things or whatever, so be it. Yeah.
Okay. For me, right, I will add to that this one thing.
Okay.
Smart TV.
All right. Oh,
so
okay.
again, this is like teaching tools, right? But like you pointed out very correctly, you need internet first. Infrastructure, very, very important. Without it, it doesn't work, right? So of course now, I believe most schools are still using the chalk and the board kind of thing, right? So I've heard like from friends who attend international schools, that whole board is basically a smart TV. And then it is where they can drag and drop. They can still write their lesson plans here and then and key in, type it like a PC computer. But they can even drag and drop other things like I want to play a YouTube video now. Or I want to play like this thing material that I prepared. I show it on the screen itself. And that becomes so much more like helpful when it comes to actually presenting the work that real life things that they want to show. Like it's a YouTube video they can show as examples, and they want to live examples that search, TikTok or stuff like that they can actually show to the students, this is what it looks like, So like actually having that more interactive learning experience over there. And I think for the more high-end schools, then they actually can connect their devices towards there, and then everybody interacts or some more, right? So of course, like maybe I don't think every school will be able to implement to that level because it requires even the students to be able to have their own kind of devices and so on. But having that smart TV, giving that more interactive experience, I think can really help.
Yeah, and I can imagine like certain learning, you gamify it, right?
Yes.
Yeah, like, okay, here's a quiz, for example. Someone come here and like press the screen, you know?
Yes.
I mean, then you can make it kind of fun in a way, like get creative, right?
And I think, I mean, to be honest, right, kids, what's the number one thing that they react to? Just things that look amazing and fun. That's it.
Yeah.
The screen is so much more interactive compared to like you got your kid, ask them, you can't draw on the board lah. I showed them a video this straight away. Right. So it's like it is a very it's you cannot deny that whole draw a lot of like more interactive experiences with the kids.
Correct.
So so it's a great teaching tool for the teachers and also more easier, like you said, to engage with the students. They can do so much more things. It's not just a screen projection. They can actually interact with the screen itself, touch screen. So yeah, it's cool.
Reduce the administrative work for the teachers will also help them engage better with the students.
Yes.
And I personally do that as well. Although my class is from like this time to this time, but if let's say students after class they want to talk to me about whatever, right? Yeah, then I'm always there because there's always value in this sort of engagement. Whether it's from a social aspect or they just want to just talk things that are not related to class, which is fine because it's a social aspect thing that we that we train, because at the end of the day, it's a training ground for them. And if they can interact with me from a social aspect, then it's cool, lah, right? It teaches them to interact with other people outside as well. Things like that. So yeah. So next point number 5. 5 primary and 5 secondary schools in each district to be designated as inspiration schools.
Yeah, this is.
What's your take on this?
I think this is quite interesting. So I did a bit of reading. They say that inspiration schools is like basically your gold standard, right? Be it like your, I think it's more towards the facilities that these schools should have, so that the teachers can teach and teach like in a better quality of education towards the students itself, right? So I think it is like really, it's always nice to have something to aspire towards, right? And probably among that state, you set this whole so-called gold standard, and then everybody will just, want to have that level of aspiration to teach it. So maybe in my mind at least, it's like I would be wary to make it a lot about the infrastructure that the school has, because not every school can afford the kind of things, because there's so much, so many variables when it goes into how much funding a school receives, right? But I would make it into like, what is the standard of education? Like, how do they teach certain subjects? How do they approach? How much extracurricular activities do they engage with when it's relevant to certain subjects? So how do you implement more than just or rather, how do you fill in the gaps that we are facing nowadays, which is people feel that when these students will go out into the workforce, right, those gaps that all the employers would face, and they need to pick up those skills. How are these schools filling in those gaps for them? So I think it's important to have those schools with having that kind of like rather gold standard to inspire everybody to want to become like that, so that in the end the goal is to have students be ready to enter the workforce and contribute in a valuable manner, and not just maybe just like in theory, or I know how to do this in concept, But
Yeah, somebody has to lead the practice lah.
Yeah. So having those inspiration schools, at least for what I see, that would be something really cool to have. So yeah.
Was any of your schools before this, to your knowledge, an inspiration school of the time?
To be very honest, I don't think so. Because this is the first time I heard about this term.
Right.
So yeah, have you heard of inspiration schools in?
So my time, we used the term controlled school, Sekolah Kawalan.
Oh.
Yeah, Sekolah Kawalan Control School. And my school, SMK Jalan Cochrane, my secondary school, was, at least at that time when I understood it, was a semi-controlled school.
Right.
And then there were other schools that have higher reputation, like Sekolah Aminuddin Baki. Some even quote VI to be a higher standard school at that time.
Yeah.
Then I ended up in Jalan Cochrane, which is a semi-controlled school that has its own standards as well. Of course, as that age, you don't really know what that means. You just go with the branding, and then you say that, okay, that school's kind of cool with that branding. Let's just go for it. And that's also one of the... So in when we, from primary moving to secondary, we had to fill up a form of what schools that we want to nominate to enter, right? I remember my first choice was SAB, Sekolah Aminuddin Baki, which was a famous controlled school at that time. And then I believe the second choice was Cochrane. I ended up getting the second choice, right? Of course, without knowing what I'm getting into, I just, go with the flow, right? But now that I've progressed and I've left school and I look back and I've seen a lot more of different education systems everywhere, I would say that Cochrane really had quite a gold standard when it comes to education, if you ask me, right? Especially when it comes to sports. Safi Salih was my senior 2 years above. Yeah, so when I was in school, I already seen him play in the Padang. And our school sports facilities is like really a lot, one. So we had 2 Padangs, 2 football fields, together with a big running track in the school. And then we had the typical gym stuff. And then we had tennis court, we had basketball court. What else? Yeah, there's basically a lot of space. The only one thing that we don't have is a swimming pool. Badminton court we got. The only one thing that we don't have is a swimming pool. So that's why hockey and all that we also got. So that's why we had a lot of national athletes that actually came from my school. Yeah. So they set the standards in terms of that lah.
Developing that kind of students.
Correct. Developing when we are not a sports school, but somehow maybe because of the facilities that we had, we could churn out all these successful sports people. But at the same time, I believe that education-wise, we don't lag too far behind also. Because we also had a lot of strict rules. And I remember one of the unique rules that we had that other schools didn't have is that, let's say you come to school and it's supposed to be Monday, you're supposed to wear a tie, for example, right? You didn't wear a tie. You will get a chop on your shirt. Melanggar peraturan sekolah.
Oh my god!
Imagine you didn't wear a tie, right? So on your collar there, the pengawas will chop melanggar peraturan sekolah.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah.
Can you wash it away, or is it?
It's those blue ink.
Okay.
Good luck washing it lah.
Wow.
But did they care? No care. You didn't care. Why should we care?
Then are there people that collect a lot of stamp?
Oh yeah, you will get to see like, you don't have your school badge, you don't have your name tag, chop on your shirt, melanggar peraturan sekolah.
Okay.
The best part is this. Has there ever been a complaint from a parent?
No.
Exactly.
Oh.
Parents will be like, yeah, you forgot to bring your tie, it's your problem.
I wouldn't be
you
surprised
wash it,
if,
whatever lah. Right?
Yeah, exactly. Like the mom and like, you wash your own shirt lah.
Yeah.
You forgot, you broke the rules, you wash your own shirt lah.
You are responsible for yourself.
I'm not going to wash it for you.
Exactly. You didn't have your name tag on, you are responsible for yourself.
Yeah.
I just sent you to school. You know the school rules better than me.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. So then good luck lah. Then that chop will happen in the morning. Perhimpunan pagi, that's where all the spot checks will happen. Chop happens, so you have to live with the chop for the entire day at least. Until you go back. So whenever people see you, it's like, melanggar peraturan sekolah. Yeah, I find it quite unique. So that's the type of a control that we had lah. So
controlled schools.
Yeah, so that's why I wouldn't say our level of discipline is spotless lah, right? It's impossible. But I would say that we're quite there in terms of how the system actually gave us the attention lah.
Okay.
Yeah. So academic wise, I would like to think of it that we did okay as well in general. Yeah. Stuff like that lah. So yeah. So if you at this modern era, if you have these sort of schools that, and then they can be the ones that lead the way and share why they do this, what's the implication and all that, best practices, totally down for it.
Right. I'm really curious to see how this will turn out. Because in my mind, I think in the end, you can talk about having like gold standard towards approaches and whatever, all this kind of stuff, right? But in reality, having the facilities there to actually execute and implement is also really, really important, right? Like you mentioned, your school, education you didn't lag behind, but the fact that you guys had so many sporting facilities available for your students, so that's why you guys could produce so many more athletes.
Oh yeah,
right, correct. Because
Hafiz Hashim also one of them, the badminton player, is our alumni.
Yeah, so imagine if you didn't have that there. I mean, sure they can go out there and find badminton courts or football fields or whatever to go and train, but the school has it. they can do it every single day right after class, easy access. Let's go.
Oh yeah.
Right. So
Absolutely.
So yeah. And then what's to stop them from inviting their friends from other schools? Hey, come and join us out, right?
Hey, there is.
Yeah,
there
because
is.
you just need like a student from the school to book it, and then anybody else come and play. Because in the end, you have the facility, you want to get better at it, right? So
Correct. We
yeah,
even host
yeah.
like tournaments, like football tournaments and whatever sporting tournaments in our school because we had the facilities. Because our field was super big. Like imagine you do a group stage football.
Yeah.
We can run 2 matches at the same time simultaneously.
Wow.
So
Wow.
from a EO perspective, it's actually really good, lah, right?
Yeah.
Something like that we can do.
Mm.
Yeah. And frankly, it is something that we're always very proud of our school, of having such facilities. Unfortunately, my school now, at least the era that I was at, became my town.
Okay.
Yep. And they
Okay.
moved the school to somewhere else that don't have as much facilities anymore. It's more compact. So gone was that era.
It's okay lah.
Sadly.
Now, just downgrade from, or rather upgrade from badminton or tennis to pickleball lah, right?
Maybe, right? Maybe there's already a pickleball club in school.
who
I don't
knows?
know, right?
You should go and ask your alumni this.
Yeah.
Hey,
I have friends who are
got
like
pickleball,
teachers.
Maybe
should
already
ask.
have,
Yeah. I have a school friend. We were same classmates.
Yeah.
And now I think he's teaching in Sekolah Bukit Jalil or somewhere. He's an actual school teacher. So maybe one of these days we can have him on the pod.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And no joke, now pickleball actually got competition one.
Yeah,
Right.
I see that, yeah.
So
And they have like corporate sponsors as well.
yes.
Yeah.
And then they have like they I've seen videos of like when badminton players go and play pickleball. So that kind of thing. When tennis players go and play, and it's like like pickleball, the rules are a bit different, right?
The technique is different.
Yeah, and usually you don't really like do very fast back and forth. Back and forth rallies. But the 2 badminton players who were there, they were doing back and forth rally like really, really fast.
They're like trying to smash.
No, that shot like really ping pong. That's like whoa. So I don't know, man. So maybe it's pickleball is the new one.
Yeah, maybe lah.
But I think back to the topic like inspiration school, I think like it really relate to the facilities that are available, right? At the end of the day.
I think facilities play a role as well.
It's huge. Like so for personally, I'm really curious to see how this will turn out. I think in districts in terms of like facilities and also like just maybe even the I would say the teachers themselves, how they implement like or are also like evaluated for this inspiration school kind of thing.
Yep.
Yeah, because the teachers do play a huge role. Facilities are there, but if nobody, I would say, uses them or advocates for them also, and those usually are the teachers and administrative staff, right? So they will also play a big role. So I think it'd be really curious to see like this all around how this inspiration school will be like even evaluated or even selected, right? And then it'd be really cool.
And I think just to wrap up this point, for me, there might be some schools that say, oh, but we have budget limitation and all that. But to me is that as long as you have a guiding lights, right? Okay. You don't need to like, oh, tomorrow I terus become like that. Like at least you can work towards that. Yes, budget limitations, but yeah, you at least you know the guidance rather than yes, I budget limitations, but at the same time I don't know where to move.
Yeah.
And so this is definitely a good one.
Yeah, like you said, it might actually be easier if there's an overall guideline to what an inspiration school or rather the gold standard of all schools.
Yep.
Then the ones who can meet the closest within the highest within score the highest within that district, they are the ones elected as inspiration schools.
Yeah. And I like that they say that it's by district so that you have the local context.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Rather than you have a general context that maybe doesn't fit certain areas.
Correct.
All right. So next point would be Technical and Vocational Education and Training, TVET,
Yeah.
is to be introduced at primary and secondary levels under the 2027 school curriculum. What's your take on
Technical
this?
schools.
I mean, TVET has been quite a topic.
Yeah. So I think largely this has always been just for like either uni or post uni kind of topics, right? But I feel in this day and age, we've already gone long past the so-called like gig economy, or this is the rise of this already, right? So and when you really look into TVET, it's about how to develop practical skills that translate to when they say practical skills, it basically means this skill you can go to anywhere right now and find a job in that specific industry with specific skill set, right? It can already give earn you a living, right? So I feel like in having now doing it in secondary school level is quite forward thinking, because I'm not sure whether other countries already have a formal systems like this. I wouldn't be surprised if they already do. But this is something that is really cool because there are definitely plenty of people out there. Maybe they don't fit within the normal, education kind of roadmap, right? But they are really good when it comes to specific kind of skills. And they also need an outlet and an avenue to be able to, basically go through education, pick up the skills they need, and then in the end, be somebody who can contribute back to society. So starting this at an earlier age, at this juncture of, I would say, where we are right now, this modern age, it's quite forward thinking, because it's like, hey, people who are in school, technically, if they have the skills, they can already like code and do administrative stuff. They can do part-time jobs really. If you just upskill them a little bit more, right, they might be the ones who be doing this side gigs on the side and then hustling, and then in the end starting their own thing later on. So yeah, I think it's like pretty cool to have, but like how will it be implemented within school curriculum? That is something that I would like to see.
Yeah, that I guess is until there's more finer details in the future, then we can revisit this topic again.
Yeah, but what do you think, like based on, because you right now you're teaching in university level, right? Do you see that kind of opportunity for those people that you're teaching right now? Could they have even I would say become even more advanced, or got even more benefit if they started this whole more upskilling inside secondary school itself?
How I see it is that this TVET that might be implemented, I imagine it as is a level up kemahiran hidup.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Right. So kemahiran hidup, we learn very basic stuff, right? How to use hammers and whatnot. But this is leveled up to be like, okay, how does it lead to an actual outcome or a practical outcome? So for example, like maybe you fix the pipe. Yeah, you fix a pipe, you diagnose a car, whatever it is, right? And I think just now we also talked about the organizing esports event in schools can be a form of TVET as well. Yes, that can be, because you learn how to set up PCs, you learn how to set up OBS and all that. That's all these technical skills that can be transferable to immediate income generating in the future. And whether you scale it to like you become a business owner at the end of the day, or you become a high level employee in a event organizing company, well, that one is a next lap. But this is definitely something that I look forward to seeing. And like coming back to your question of like whether I see this opportunity even with students who are higher learning, definitely. One of the things that we encourage students, at least in Thai UMT, is to explore their own interests. Okay, so that's why there are clubs that are formed and all this. And lecturers are just there to be an advisor only. spearheaded is all by students. So even if, let's say, so for example, a brand from the outside wants to do an event in school, yes, you can deal directly with the school themselves. But if you want to deal with the club, you can do so. So the club has manpower to deploy, which is their club members to be your crew or whatever. And because of this kind of collaboration, then they would learn the real world skills of organizing the events, working with a brand, right? Following brand guidelines and all these things. So these are also a form of TVET by itself as well, if you think about it, right? Just that we don't say this is TVET, but this is the practice of TVET. Yeah, the practice of actually doing it through club practices. And that's why when in MKL, the past season 1 MKL, season 2 MKL.
Right.
Yeah, season 2 MKL, like Thai UMT made it to the Pro League. The school supported, provided whatever that's needed or that, and they don't come and say that, oh no, you should, pull back this, go study, whatever. They allowed the students to do it themselves. So, and whatever they learn from there, maybe they learn, oh, this is how it is, falling through a professional league structure, and whatever that they learn out of that, right? So again, it may not be said as, oh, we are TVETing our students, but it is the practice of TVET that allows them this sort of exposure so that when they graduate, they would know their path better. Yeah, so I would say that it is more of the practice lah. Yeah, but if you want to structurally put it into the co-curriculum or into the curriculum itself, sure, I'm all in for it. Yeah.
Maybe you can start to replace all the tuition classes.
Ooh. Hot take. Let's ask the daddy on this.
Yeah.
Okay, I know it's still very early. I know very young, but now put on your daddy punya hat lah, right? Would you send your kid to tuition classes or not? Okay.
What about you? We replace that with TVET classes?
I like the concept of TVET.
Okay.
I like the concept because people are looking for experience.
Yeah.
And that will give you experience.
Yeah.
But he needs to win both lah. So if you are good at TVET, okay, I will focus him more on that. Or if he is good at the book part, which is the academic part, so let's focus on that one more. I don't want to focus on something he don't like, and just focusing on what I want is what he wants.
Wow, I think that's a good point, right? What Lin is essentially saying is that you give all these options to the students, whether it's TVET type, whether it's academic type or all that, because I can also remember like when I was a kid, right? My parents sent me to a lot of different type of classes. Typical Asian parents.
Do you do piano as well?
Yes.
Okay.
But I did very, very early and then I never continued.
Yeah, I went for one class, tried the piano, played a few notes, then I didn't go again. Because like you said, is it what your kid wants? Right. I did not want piano.
Yeah. And one class that my parents sent to me that I clearly don't like is drawing class. Art class. Yeah, like drawing, coloring. I didn't like drawing. Until now, I can't draw to save my life.
Funny story.
Yeah.
So a drawing class, I went for art classes as well.
Right.
So we were told to draw a papaya.
Okay.
Right. So
it didn't turn out dirty, right?
No,
Okay,
definitely not
right.
dirty. Sorry, not this episode.
Okay.
You want dirty, that one, not this podcast.
Okay.
So that one you PM the P then we can talk about.
Okay.
But what happened was I did not draw a papaya. I drew an infinity sign.
Huh?
I colored it like a papaya.
How?
You know infinity?
Yeah.
Yeah, I drew it.
Yeah.
So instead of drawing the circle, the oval, the circle-ish form, I drew a infinity and then I colored it like it was a papaya.
Why?
I just felt like it.
you just wanted to be rebellious and do your own thing?
Honestly, I didn't know what I was thinking.
Okay.
Because I was maybe like I don't know, too young, like 6 years old. So I just like, everybody was drawing it. I don't know why. I just drew a infinity instead. I didn't even know it was infinity. I just draw that shape and then it came out like that, and then I colored it like a papaya. And then my teacher was like, "This is not a papaya."
It's too far away.
It's like because at that age I don't even know what infinity is.
Okay, fair enough.
You know, I just know like I remember drawing. Somehow I drew that. I drew a double papaya instead. So, yeah.
Okay.
And I colored it like a papaya. So it was a papaya in my eyes, but I said it wasn't. No.
Right.
If there is such a papaya in the real world, then wow, that would be amazing.
Okay, maybe in the future we don't know how papayas will evolve also. Anyways, yeah. So definitely. I like what Lynn put in is eventually you give options.
Yeah.
Even we have gone through like, actually we don't like that. But because we know early that we don't like that, we don't really pursue that anymore, right? I never obviously pursued drawing.
Yeah.
I couldn't draw to save my life. So then I guess I don't know whether my parents thought about it or not, but over the years I eventually I just don't like drawing. Yeah. So something like that. So by giving like TVET education, academic education laid down at school, you experience it yourself. You drill it down to like, is this eventually what you like to do or not? I think that's cool.
I guess it is the exposure.
It's the exposure,
because
not rather than you really can do or not.
Yeah. Because like a lot of part of learning, there have been a lot of studies have been done when it comes to just learning, and you even with like twins, and people always do with twins. It's exceptional because they say like twins, supposedly your biological makeup, everything is the same. But what happens when you put them in two different environments? You know? So what happened was two different environments, and then they found that the amount of exposure that somebody is given while they are being brought up, right? That actually determines the kind of can really impact the growth that they face, that they have across the years. So the more exposure they have, and the more they're able to develop intellectually and advance as well. So then this is the point, which is like you give more exposure, that options out there. Then if the kid can expose towards it and the individual has more exposure towards it, then at least they know they're further along in development compared to somebody who does not have that kind of exposure.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, I guess we can move on to the next point. Wow, we're only halfway there, but I think... Yeah, I know, right?
We should make a part 2 then. It feels like.
Should we do a part 2 or...
I think we should do part 2.
Right.
Otherwise, this might go 4 hours.
Right. Okay. So we have another 6 more points for us to discuss.
Yeah.
Oh, it's been a while since I actually do a part 2. Normally, I just one shoot everything else.
This one is quite important.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Yeah. And also, I guess having a part 2 gives us more room to elaborate rather than we want to just rush it through the points also, right? So I think it's fine. So we're gonna cut it here. So if you guys want to know more about what our take is in the other 6 points to come in part 2, as usual, like, share, and subscribe. And we'll see you guys in part 2. Bye.